Oh yes, time for us to have a look at some Colac and District football. Round 12 from last week. Simpson's season, I reckon, is done because Alvey, one of the top sides now, 15-15, beat Simpson 2-4. Was in pretty wet conditions. They're pretty wet underfoot, but they're playing some good footy, Alvey. Williamson booted 7 and Dare 5 for them. And it was De La Cruz and Rosevere, the better players. De Jong, good for Simpson, and Ackley and Wintle both scored their single each for them in the end of the analysis. It was too good for the boys from Alvey. South Colac, too good for Apollo Bay, but not by much. 14-4, 88 to 11-3, 69. So, the Apollo Bay, their first half was poor, but after that, they got up and really got going and kicked 7 goals to 3 in the second half to nearly run down the South Colac side. I don't think it was ever really in doubt, but South just did what they had to do. Lynch with 6 and Big Cox with 4. Birkins and Menzies best for South, and Elliott with 4, and Zeparenkov with 3 for Apollo Bay, and B. King and Elliott and M. Karras were their better players. And it was a good win for Birregurra over Otway, 18-10 to 3-5. I guess we expected, because Otway having a really tough season there, but Simpson booted 4 and Jennings booted 3 for Birregurra. And Jennings Collins, the two Collins boys played well, J&D. And for Otway Districts, that their better players were Mackenzie, Trotter and Plyman. Goals from Lawler, Marnie and Meaden got on their score sheet for that occasion. But there hasn't been a lot of scoring for Otway this year. How about this, though? Been a bit of scoring going on here for one of the sides that I think has needed to get some form. And Lawn, 22-19, beat the Western Eagles 6 goals 2. A big win there by the Dolphins. They needed something because they haven't been going well of late. And King with 6 and Roach and Tarnasy with 3. And Turner better players for Lawn, Turner, King and Tamassi, while it was Reid with 2 for Western Eagles, and Beasley, Kenny and Hunt were amongst the better players for them. And finally, Illawarra Biak Ford had an absolute beauty. It was match of the round. We said it last week, it would go down to the wire, and Colac Imperials 9-6-60, beating Illawarra Biak 8-9, 57, and a good win in the end. Colac Imperials pushing their way in the finals race. Illawarra right there amongst it too. 2 goals for Hankey and Smith, and McCann, Spokes and Cam, the better players for Imperials. Spokes and Murray, 2 each for Illawarra. Inglis, Thornton and Flanagan also amongst the usual suspects in their better players. As we take a look at the ladder now, and this is a really interesting ladder because after 12 rounds of footy, we've got Alvey on the top, 32 with South 32, Illawarra 26, but that loss to Colac Imperials puts Colac Imperials up to 20, and they look pretty safe. But Birregurra 18, then Lawn and Apollo Bay 16, Simpson 12. I don't think can make it from here, but mathematically you can, but they have to have a big turnaround completely. I can't see that happening. Western Eagles not making up the last 2 placings, as I have for some seasons here in the Colac and District. Round 13 action. Games to be played. Birregurra play Illawarra. It's got match of the round status written over it. Birregurra at home in the... Actually, they moved this one, I think, to Central Reserve, which will be on beautiful ground. If it was at Birregurra, it would be in a mud pot. But Birregurra's going to play this at Central Reserve. Illawarra, I think, can beat Birregurra there. Otway play Alvey. It's sort of like top versus bottom. And even though it's a jelly brand, Alvey will win it by a big margin, even in the mud. Western Eagles play Apollo Bay. Chance for the Bay to keep their finals hopes alive by beating the Eagles at Irrawillipi. Simpson play South Colac, and Simpson last hurrah time for the Tigers, but South will beat them. And Colac at Imperials play Lawn in a really good match at the Western Oval. The way the Imperials are playing, I think they can beat Lawn and keep their top 3 hopes alive, but certainly keep them right in that top 5. That is a look at Colac and District footy.